everyone. Welcome to our show, Shalom from Olive Tree. Thank you so much for your letters, email, the phone calls. As you know, we're going to start one more service, Shabbat service in Sharon, Massachusetts. Welcome. And plus, if you're in New York area, once a month, please welcome to the Chinese congregation where we teach about the Hebrew roots. Thank you. Well, today we're not going to do the teaching, but I have a very special woman of God. Recently, I was attending the church event. It's not just because of a fancy schmancy restaurant, not just because of its fancy schmancy food and everything, and not just because of my granddaughter, Katya, and my daughter participated in this event, because this event about how the Messiah, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, changing life. I was so moved in this event. I was wept, I was crying, happy, my heart is beeping, and my husband was next to me. He was crying too, because we can see in this event, through the souls, the real work, the hard work of people who believe in Him. And today I would like to introduce you a very special woman. Please pay attention what she will share with you. Executive Director, Teen Challenge of Rhode Island, Jacqueline Strothoff. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Thank you so much for your ministry, for what you're doing. And I truly believe what you share in this event, this for us as a ministry, it's very important. Because what you came through, you can not just kind of be example, but you know what is people coming through. This is, you can see because you're doing this by your heart, because of course you believe in Him.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit history, because probably our viewers have no idea. What is a Teen Challenge about? How this started?
Okay. Teen Challenge is an international ministry. It is 57 years old now, and we have been growing exponentially through the years.
Okay.
But it began with one small center opening in Brooklyn, New York. And it was founded by a minister by the name of David Wilkerson. And he had simply seen an article in Life magazine about gang members who had taken the life of a crippled and disabled boy in the park, and he felt God impress upon him to go to New York to help the boys. Well, the interesting thing was he did go, and he did go to the courtroom, but he was never able to meet the boys. But he did make quite a spectacle holding up his Bible and trying to explain to people who he was and what he came to do. Well, the gang members saw his picture on the front page, of the paper the next day, and they sensed an affiliation with him. They somehow sensed that he really did, want to help them. And that became a crusade for him. He continued going back to New York City. He continued ministering and trying to reach the gang members on the street, letting them know, telling them that there was an answer out of the lifestyle that they had through Jesus Christ. And so they opened that first center in Brooklyn, New York in 1958.
Вау. Дорогие друзья, дело в том, что рассказывает моя гостья Джаки о том, что Teen Challenge был организован by Дэвид Вилкерсон. Я думаю, что вам очень многим знакомо это имя прекрасного проповедника с Нью-Йорка. И он как раз имел это видение, чтобы привлечь детей, которые были из очень тяжелых семей. И он обязательно говорил им о нашем Господе, о нашем Мессии Иисусе Христе. How the Rhode Island started? How long the Rhode Island Teen Challenge?
Rhode Island Teen Challenge started in, 22 years ago we opened the women's home in Rhode Island. But we have, in America, there's over 200 centers, and then internationally there's thousands. So it is an international ministry.
Yes, yeah.
But we opened ours, first we opened the men's center a few years before that, and then we opened the women's center in 1994.
Дело в том, что в Род-Айленде, в штате, открыт был в 1994 году. Сначала был открыт для мужчин, а потом был также открыт для женщин. So the 1994, are you from the beginning?
Yes, I'm the founder.
Do you
Yes.
know, we're very moved by your testimony in this event. If you don't mind, just can you tell our viewers, how God called you to do this job?
Yeah, surely. Well, I wasn't raised with a church background really, or religious background or anything like that. And when I was a very young girl, I was a victim of childhood sexual abuse. And it messed me up, going into my adolescence. I was already like a broken kid, trying to understand and recover from that. And I began started with smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol and then taking pills. And when I was 16, I became pregnant, and back then you didn't get abortions or do things, you just got married. This was a long time ago. So we got married, and I found out that he was a very different person than I thought he was. He was very abusive. And so I used to get beaten,
Of course, you were young,
regularly.
yes.
I was a 16-year-old kid, I didn't really even understand, what was going on. But when I was 6 months pregnant, he had beaten me so badly that I had to be hospitalized, and the twins were stillborn, and I was told that I'd never be able to have children. And so I just continued going deeper and deeper into drugs until my 17th summer, I, for the first time, used heroin. And for me, it was like, it took away all the pain that I was carrying around. I had already tried to kill myself before and everything. I was just a really lost and confused and hurting teenage girl. But when I shot that drug, it numbed all of that. It took that all away. And it gave me this sense of euphoria, that this peace that I had been looking for all my life, to something to quiet my mind and take the pain away, in my heart. And that drug did that. And so that was it for me. I was hooked from the very beginning.
Okay, let me translate. Она очень была маленькая девочка и росла в обыкновенной семье. И когда было 16 лет, она стала курить и также выпивать алкоголь. После этого, конечно, мы понимаем, что получается всевозможные случайные связи. Она забеременела в 16 лет. И в то время не было вопроса об аборте. И она вышла замуж. Но она поняла, что этот человек, который очень сильно издевался и плохо жил в семье, и дети у нее не родились, была одна драма за другой, и она все дальше и дальше уходила, и вот уже, конечно, пришло время, когда она хотела найти мир и покой, и только могла найти это в наркотиках.
So as I continued with my drug usage and my addiction became worse, it was only a matter of time before I had to go to the streets and start doing things, to get money for my habit. And I started to become a criminal because I was hanging around with criminals and other drug addicts, and would start out just doing shoplifting and then going to armed robbery and going in and out of psychiatric hospitals and overdosing and going in and out of jail, for the things, being homeless, not having a place to sleep, sleeping in bus stations and, on park benches, and not so much initially, but after a few years of that lifestyle, really wanting to try to get out of that.
So do you think at your age, how dangerous this life, or just, when we youngsters, we even don't think about it?
I think because I was immersed in that culture, and it was that life for everybody that I was with, it seemed normal to me that if you were an addict, then this is what life was like for you. This is what you had to do to survive.
Yeah.
This is what you had to do to keep getting your drugs. You had to prostitute, you had to steal, you had to endure a lot of abuse on the street, a lot of evil people, men out there hurting you, but the only thing in your mind is get the money, get the drugs, so you can survive.
Yeah. Дело в том, что когда стала я старше, у меня все больше и больше было, конечно, наркотической зависимости. Я стала жить на улице, я была под мостом, я водила с всевозможными разными людьми. И ты даже не думаешь о том, как эта жизнь опасна, потому что это твой круг людей, который нужно заниматься без конца. Украсть что-то, деньги или пойти в магазин что-то украсть, чтобы просто выживать. Ты даже не думаешь о том, что столько много злых людей, которые могут просто тебя уничтожить.
Then a day came when I was dealing drugs, and we had a lot of drugs in the apartment, me and the two men that were with me. The one man I lived with, one was just a friend, a partner in drug dealing. And we went out, and the man I was living with that I loved stayed home. And when we got back to the house, he had overdosed in the bathtub.
Wow.
So we pulled him out of the tub, and we just put him on the bed, and me and my partner, we just kept shooting dope and packaging dope through the night. And I went to bed somewhere around maybe 3, 4 in the morning, and when I woke up that next morning, I woke up feeling like freezing cold. And when I looked over, I realized why. Was because he was freezing cold, and he was blue, and he had died during the night. And I called my friend right away, and the only thing I could think was that we couldn't tell anybody about this because, number one, it wasn't going to bring him back, and number two, we had a house full of narcotics that I knew we would leave, and then we would just end up going to prison. And so we decided, you know, the best thing to do was just to bury him ourselves and not tell anybody, and not his family or anybody.
Одна ситуация, которая случилась с нами, это была одна ночь, когда мы очень много, сильно много приняли наркотика. И мой друг, и еще один товарищ, который жил, который продавал. И я проснулась ночью, была уже холодная, и мне что-то было очень плохо. Я проснулась, что мой друг тоже был уже, тело его было холодное, и губы голубые, синего цвета. Но мы поняли, что он умер, и мы знаем, что мы можем делать. Этот дом полон наркотиков. Сейчас придет полиция, нас арестуют и отправят в тюрьму. И мы просто решили взять его и закопать.
After that, after doing that, I began to have really serious mental problems, and I began going in and out of psychiatric hospitals and that type of thing. And but just kept going back to the drugs and just kept going back to the addiction because now I had even more pain and more guilt and all that sort of thing. And in December of '72, I was shooting a lot of cocaine and heroin together, and I had been up for several days, and my little brother stopped by to check on me to see how I was doing because nobody had heard from me. And so in the evening, I asked him if he would like to try some. And so I shot him up with cocaine, and he began to immediately convulse in my arms. And he died in my arms. And he was only 19 years old.
Однажды просто приехал ко мне мой брат младший меня визитировать, чтобы попроведывать, потому что уже давно семья не знала, что со мной. Но я предложила ему, давай попробуй этот наркотик. Он был очень молодой, ему было всего 18 лет. Он попробовал, и, к сожалению, у него начались конвульсии, он умер сразу на моих руках.
I just began to scream, God help me. I kept trying to get him to breathe and everything, and I just started screaming, God help me. Not because I knew God. I don't know where that came from, just the desperation, just if there is a God, what? God help me. And the neighbors heard, and the police came, and they took him to one hospital, and they took me to a psychiatric ward in a hospital. And on the day of my brother's funeral, a man named Frank Marcello, who was my father's best friend, came to see me in the hospital. My father and Frank, and he had designed a book cover called Please Make Me Cry of a woman whose testimony and story was just like mine. And so when he read that she got delivered and helped through Jesus Christ, he thought that that's what I needed too. And so he came to the hospital and he asked me to pray with him to receive Christ. And I did do that. I did pray with him to receive Christ. I had no understanding of that. I didn't feel anything different. I didn't really understand what he was talking about. But I did say that prayer.
Когда было очень тяжело, однажды пришел человек, потому что я уже была в mental institution, была в госпитале, и он сказал, принес мне книгу, потому что он прочитал о том, что женщина была освобождена. Говорит, помолись Иисусу Христу. Я помолилась, даже немножко не соображая, не думая о том, что это и как, потому что я готова была ухватиться за любую соломинку. И я помолилась, приняв Иисуса Христа.
So they transferred me from the psychiatric unit to a mental hospital waiting for a hearing because they, you know, now my record, this was the second death I was responsible for. And so they had a hearing, and they determined at the hearing that I needed to be sent away for life. And so they were sending me to an institution for the criminally insane.
Yeah.
And I was in this hospital waiting for transfer, and that's when I read the book that Frank was talking about. And when I read her story, I thought, this woman is either the biggest liar I've ever heard of, or this is the greatest news I've ever heard. That there was a God who loved me, that there was a God who forgave me, that there was a God who wanted to come and live in me and raise me to a newness of life. And so I just got down off my bed and knelt, and I said, God, I don't know if you're real. I don't really understand any of this, but if this is all true and you do love me, please do for me what you did for her.
Когда я прочитала эту книгу уже опять по новой, я поняла, что есть что-то очень большое и серьезное, потому что или женщина – это большая лгунья, которая написала книгу в этом. И я тогда действительно стала молиться Господу и говорить: Бог, если ты есть на свете, спаси меня, неужели ты меня так любишь? Несмотря ни на что, то, что я сделала, то, что произошло со мной, я хочу, чтобы служить тебе.
So, for reasons that we still don't know to this day, within a couple of months, a nurse came to the door and said that they were releasing me and they were giving me a taxi cab voucher and I could go anywhere I wanted, but I didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
I had no family left, I had no friends left, I had nobody. So I just went back to the city and I started living in an empty apartment building, and I went back to the streets and started doing the only thing I knew to do.
Yeah.
To go, and I went right back to drugs again. And one night, it was winter, I was cold, I was so tired, you know, my body was tired, my mind was tired, I was just exhausted, and I just felt like I just can't keep doing this. I just can't keep living like this anymore. And I still had the book, and on the back of the book was a number that said, if you need help, please call this number. Well, I was like poster child for somebody that needed help. So I walked to the payphone and I made a collect call with the number. They were so excited because I didn't know, but Frank had called her and said, please start praying for my friend's daughter, Jacqueline, and have the girls start praying for her because she needs a miracle. So she sent a prepaid ticket, and off I went to the program.
Аллилуйя, аллилуйя. Когда у нее было еще опять, она упала снова в наркотики, но она потом понимала, что должен быть какой-то выход. На этой книге был номер телефона. Когда она позвонила в эту организацию, там уже люди молились за нее, потому что ее друг Фрэнк сказал: молитесь за нее. И они мне сразу же дали тикет, сказали: иди, лети туда, билет, прилетай к нам, говорит, туда в организацию. Вот так я приехала в эту организацию, где мне очень сильно помогли. You know, I feel so bad about the 6 minutes what we left, because I want to talk about the teen challenge and everything, because the testimony what you brought, the show to us, you ministering, because you came through.
Yes.
You came through, you know what is it. And sometimes, you know, when you think, you know, the young guy, you know, they finish the Bible college and become a pastor, you know, it was something, you know, it's too young. You know, I can see this real stuff in the teen challenge, because I can see a lot of testimony. Can you just share, you know, briefly, what is most of need, what is desperation in teen challenge in Rhode Island?
It's Jesus Christ. You know, when I went into that program, and I was in many, many programs, it was an encounter with Jesus Christ. You know, it was reconnecting with my Creator and having that dead part of my spirit brought to life again in Him, to have Him to come and live in me. The program was all about studying the Word of God, reading the Word of God, praying, worshiping God, being connected with God, and the new life that He just poured into you just brought you back to life. And you recognize that this is what you were looking for all your life.
Because this is the foundation. Everything is spiritual. When you wake up in the morning, you know, the battle in spirit. You want the whiskey because it started here.
Yes.
We have to realize more and more, you know, just, you know, to work with our youth, you know, especially the people, you know, everything gets started from the spirit.
That's right. Right.
So, tell a little bit, share, you know, for the viewers, you know, because I know, guys, you know, please have a contact, you know, to this wonderful lady, the minister, you know, who came through, who knows what to do. Talk to her. Maybe just, do you know what I'm thinking in this event?
What?
Maybe just every church in Rhode Island, for example, to take just one girl
Yes.
who needed desperate, this
Yes.
help,
Right.
just one life.
Yes.
I think, you
Right.
will be all set.
Yeah.
Can you share, what you
Yeah.
need, and your organization, what you're doing, share to our viewers.
Yes, well, because we're a faith-based program and we can't take Jesus out of the program in order to get government
Yes.
funding, because the Jesus factor is what makes our program so successful.
Yes.
So we would never do that. We cannot do that. And so we're totally dependent on donors,
Okay.
on churches, on other Christians, on even just people that aren't Christians, but who have a sense, of a compassion for humanity, for
yes.
people who are addicted and stuck and just can't seem to move on in life. So we need their donations, we need their finances in order to sustain this program, in order to keep these doors open, in order to keep helping people like I was,
Yes.
because there's thousands and thousands of them. This problem is so bad right now. I just saw a thing on the health department saying that 50% of the heroin overdoses, have increased because of the drugs that they're cutting them with. We have young people dying all around us. We're burying our youth because of the horrendous expansion of this addiction.
Tell us, for example, okay, what this is your work day. How
Yeah.
many phone calls you just receiving every day? The people come desperately.
We
Just
do get
statistically.
several calls.
Yes,
We do
yeah.
get several calls every day, but sometimes there's not a bed to offer them. Sometimes maybe they don't want to stop smoking, maybe they don't want to come off their psych meds, because they still don't understand that it's not about the cigarettes, it's not about your psych meds, it's about connecting
Yes.
with God, it's about
Amen.
connecting with
Amen.
Jesus
Amen.
Christ.
Amen. Дорогие друзья, мы очень обращаемся к вам, потому что мы понимаем, что это трагедия, это огромная трагедия для многих семей. Молодые люди умирают от того, что овердокс от наркотиков. И это организация, которая помогает и нуждается в вашей помощи, которой молодое поколение уходит просто каждый день в ад. И она говорит о том, что каждый день приходят телефонные звонки, сколько приходится отказывать людям. Но если каждый задумается о том, чтобы помочь одному хотя бы человеку, мы уже можем многое сделать.
There's hope through Jesus Christ, and we can offer them that hope in our programs and introduce them to Him.
Dear viewers, you have the whole information on our screen, how to reach the Jackie, or you can reach me. I will definitely pass this to her. But like I said before, if just one church,
Yes.
they take the one soul, one person, I think it can do a lot together.
Yes, we can.
What do you think about this? Please, share your thoughts. Maybe you have some said, oh, I know what to do. Please call us. Maybe we can talk together. All right. Thank you so much for watching us. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're
Thank you
welcome.
so
My
much.
pleasure.
Thank you.
God bless
Thank
you.
Blessings to
Yeah.
you. Blessings to
Thank
you.
you.
Shalom. Goodbye.